Hi, this is Mike with Christian Meds. This is our 7th part of a 12-part series. This week we're going to talk about fasting. Let's get started. So this week let's talk about fasting. First off, we need to say a disclaimer. This is not medical advice. This is just my own personal experience when it comes to fasting. This is not anything you should, myself or anybody else, who's not a qualified doctor, you should not be taking as medical advice. This is just what I have found when it comes to fasting and the things that I have researched and the way that I believe fasting truly works within the body, and so I just needed to start with that. For me, I've been fasting for close to a year now. When I first started out fasting, I thought that I would keep getting hungrier and hungrier the longer the fast went on. What I found was that I ended up, my hunger ended up going down, not up. In other words, for the first time I fasted, I would end up being hungry about noon, because for me, when I wake up in the morning, I'm really not hungry. But as soon as I'd eat, then I would be hungry. And it's kind of weird how that happens, where all of a sudden your body releases a hormone, a hunger hormone called ghrelin, and that basically makes you hungry. Well, your body gets conditioned to release that chemical certain times throughout the day. For me, fasting came quite natural. For me, most days I end up doing a 16-hour fast, and then I eat 2 meals in an 8-hour window, and then fast for 16 hours again. I do that Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends, I do what's called a circadian rhythm fast, which basically I don't eat for 13 hours. So right now, when I'm recording this, I haven't ate for about 12 hours, and I probably won't eat for another hour, maybe 2. Until I get all the recording done. So that's the way my fasting schedule is right this second. But when it comes to fasting, there's lots of different types of fasts. The fast I do would be considered intermittent fasting. So in other words, I just lay out a pattern throughout a 24-hour period that I don't eat. And there are some health benefits for that. And I'll go over that in a minute. But then there's also prolonged fasting, and that would be, I would consider anything longer than 24 hours. The longest fast I've ever done is a 36-hour fast. Although I'm seriously considering starting to do once every 3 to 6 months, either every quarter or every half a year, doing a 70-hour fast, which basically, that is supposed to be where you maximize the benefits of a fast, is right at 70 hours. There's a chart on my website that will explain exactly what benefits you get at each hour of your fast. At least that's the way my research has shown. So you're welcome to come to christianmeds.com and take a look at my blog post on this and see the chart. On YouTube, probably the leading expert is Dr. Jason Fung. When I read his book, it was very enlightening, and I'd highly recommend anybody who wants to take on a fasting regimen should read his book. It explains the difference between basically us having a refrigerator that we end up using the majority of the time, but our stored fat in our cells, which the majority, 80% of the public, especially here in the United States, is overweight. So we all have these stores that we should be tapping into. The problem is we're eating so frequently that we never tap into them. So basically, for the first 8 to 12 hours, we end up using our glycogen stores, and then after that, we have to basically then start burning fat. So when I do a 16-hour fast, the first 12 hours of it, I'm still just burning through the normal stores that I have in my body. There's ways to amplify that by eating a ketogenic diet. And I eat a ketogenic diet the majority of the time. In other words, a ketogenic diet stacks on top of fasting. It actually makes it to where your hunger is actually even less than if you're eating mainly a carb-based diet. So eating low carb actually helps you with your fasting. With the pandemic going around the world right now, one of the things that people would very much want to know is how to boost their immune system. Well, the easiest way to boost your immune system is to fast longer than 20 hours. Now, I wouldn't recommend anybody doing this without, if you're on any kind of medication at all, or pregnant, or have any type of, illness in your body, I would not recommend this. But if you're healthy, like I am, and I don't take any medicine outside of just taking vitamins, and for me, I can start boosting my immune system even stronger by fasting longer than 20 hours. And then basically a full reset of my immune system would be complete at about 70 hours. So anytime in that window, you're actually improving your overall health when it comes to immunity to disease. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I end up using an app to track my fasting. The app I use is called Zero. I'll put a link in the description down below of that application. What I like about that application is that if I forget to start the application, so I wake up in the morning and I'm like, so did I start my fast last night? I know I stopped eating at about 8 o'clock at night, which is usually the time I stop eating. And I can go back into the app. If I haven't started the fast, I can start it right then and then reset the start time. And it basically breaks down, all kinds of different fasts and how often you've done it. You can earn badges, you can have streaks. It's actually just a really nice app for a free app that you can have on your phone just to kind of keep track of how often you fast, how many hours you fast in a month, in a year, everything. I've been using it for about 3 months now, and I really enjoy using that app. So this is just some of my comments about fasting. Jesus said that, when he was asked, why don't his disciples fast like others Jews did at the time, he said, why would I fast? Why would they fast when I'm here? In other words, when I'm gone, then they should fast. And he basically said that they would fast. So we really are called to fast according to the Bible. And it is actually, there is a huge amount of health benefits for fasting. So I would highly recommend anybody who's in good health or in ill health with doctor's supervision, I would highly recommend fasting because it changes your whole metabolism when it comes to weight loss and boosting your immune system. So have a wonderful week.